to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirsho here. Now, I'm going to be trying to post some videos early today because I am going to need to go into work later, which is going to be fun. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be also working tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. So there may not be as many videos tomorrow. Now then, let us begin. When we last left off, Deku, him and Momo were cuddling up with one another as they are actually drinking some tea and nursing their wounds. Now, they would be doing this as they are still on the ship after the hunt. Deku somewhat being eager to work out, but Momo just, trying to... Basically, she pulled him away from working out for a minute, because he does need a rest too. In fact, she's trying to make sure he doesn't break his body, if not actually hurt himself. Because ever since they met All Might, he has stressed the importance of taking a day off to nurse your injuries, if not just to rest your body. Which Deku, he's still not accustomed to. No. They are just resting as they are talking about different subjects. Different forms of combat, different things they've learned, along with Deku actually being interested in a lot of tech things that she's talking about. This is whenever May would walk into the room, as she would actually interrupt these two by quite simply saying that she's gone over all the information that the Yaoja have given her. Not just that, but apparently the Bad Bloods, they had no involvement with what they were happening, if not no involvement with messing with their gear. In fact, they were actually trying to look into it too, because they did want to try and get some information out of those people, if not at least find a way to get to Deku. Either to take him or kidnap him or whatever. Basically, probably drop him into a hunting grounds and hunt him down. But Deku's kinda already gone around those plans. Now, with that being said, Deku, he's hearing this as he's marking that guy down on their investigation. However, this does not cancel, if not set the man free. This just means that he was liably involved, but the information they've gathered is not concrete. They just have pure suspicion. Now, let us get into the actual story. They would arrive back on Earth, as they would see Shinsho just messing around with different things, if not he's actually being taught by the engineer. The engineer is trying to teach him different forms of fighting, if not a fighting style that he's tried picking up from Earth, but this is a bit complicated. It's basically just like boxing. Because the engineer's like, oh my, I want to say he just thinks just throwing one simple punch would be enough, but in a society of superhumans, when you're not the strongest, it is never enough. Now, this is whenever they would arrive back home, and let us cut to the first day of school, where everyone would walk in. People are staring at them, as this is whenever they'd all walk into Class 1A. Everyone's staring as people would actually just be asking Deku exactly what his quirk is. In fact, asking what all of their quirks are. Because as far as they know, they outpaced every single person there by over 50 points. So that means that they've got some pretty strong quirks. Deku would just explain his quirk as everyone would go over theirs, still being confused at how they were even able to do anything, if not do all that. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I got a phone call. Now, everyone is still confused as in this version of events, with me bringing in Shinsho and Toga, changing up a majority of that, along with May, I want to basically say that killing off Ayama in the previous parts, and then leaving room to take out Invisible Girl and Moneta, basically helps balance this all out. Now, whenever they do hear about her, May's quirk Zoom, and how it basically just increases her eyesight, they're just realizing exactly how much physical training these people have done. As Aizawa would just pop up. He would say that this is going to be a test. If not, he's annoyed at them for being so loud. So, whoever comes last is going to be expelled. As he would just look around and he's a bit confused. Where is that weird child I usually expel? He's not here. As I would just slowly walk out of the room. Now, they are in the locker room as everyone is staring at Bakugo, Deku, and Kirishima, along with Shinsho and Todoroki. They would see a lot of scars on Todoroki, if not what looks to be burn marks and ice, freezer burns, but they're just associating them with Endeavor. So they're a little iffy to ask him on that, along with the fact that he actually does have scars showing around his entire body, if not what looks to be giant holes or bullet wounds. But those are not bullet wounds. They're actually from whenever the Predators would hook them up to wires and do tests on them. People would notice them on Toga also, but they would just not really give any complaints. As Momo, Mina, Uraka, and Mei, they all do carry scars. Every single person does. Kirishima, Deku, and Bakugo, however, whenever people do look around at them, they just see everything Deku's covered in, as they would all walk outside. Now, this is whenever Aizawa, he actually would turn to see Deku, and he is immediately he essentially believes that Deku is All Might's successor, because the amount of damage to his body, and All Might's quirk getting stronger from what he's heard, this might be what happened. Along with the fact that adaptability means he probably got really messed up inside. So, he would just toss ball Deku, telling him to use his quirk. Now, Deku immediately does cock back his arm as he is ready. He immediately just swings his hand forward as powerful as he can as he throws the ball. Aizawa would try canceling Deku's quirk, but he only is canceling his adaptation, not his physical strength. As soon as Deku lets go of the ball, he immediately sends it flying. I want to say, being at the superhuman level, he would at least send it 400 to 300 meters, which is still very good. Aizawa was a bit confused as he just looks at Deku. Deku would just turn his head staring at Aizawa as Aizawa was asking Deku why didn't he cancel his quirk. Oh, you did, but you just canceled my adaptation. Adaptation? Yeah. It's my quirk. Now, as that's being said, Todoroki would go up, then Momo. Momo actually tossing the ball, sending a shockwave flying. As she sends the ball over 700 to 1,000 meters. Uraka would still get infinity as we will begin the 50-meter dash. Deku, he immediately just brings his entire body down to the ground like a lion or a panther, and they immediately begin. Deku, he immediately just begins running as he's on all fours. He immediately just starts adapting very fast and rapidly as he does get 2.3 seconds, beating out Ida's max speed. Along with the fact that he does look leaner, which kind of confuses people, as he actually does move his body around, regaining his muscle. He basically made himself more aerodynamic. Along with the fact that moving his body like that, he was able to at least mimic, if not act like a predator that runs on all fours and chases down prey. Now, after that, Deku, he would come second, if not third, because Bakugo is able to use his quirk to physically outpace Deku, along with Momo doing the same. Now, in this version of events, since everyone's doing so well and high above the rest of Class 1A, this is whenever Aizawa would just basically admit to his bluff. Not, well, bleh. Who do you have to expel? Okay, well, I thought I had it on my phone, but I don't have it right now, so he would not have to expel anyone, but for the sake of that, this is already a very long series, and the fact is I already did change so much. I want to bring Kendo and Ibara into Class 1A, since I don't know why they were never... This is the wrong picture. Since they never were in Class 1A. So I could add these two onto my current list and bring them into the crew. Where's my pen? Okay. There we go. Now, I want to do that, and let us switch over to the combat portion. Ooh. Okay. For the combat portion, everyone is going to have their same hero suits as in canon, except for everyone on my list. They would have variations of theirs, but it's more a bit tactical, along with the fact that it does support their weapons. Albeit reluctantly, from the support department. Kirishima, he does still carry his same type of design, but he just wears his suit under it. Toga, she'd be just, well, she would have somewhat of a needle system set up like her in-canon counterpart outfit, but she would also have like the wrist gauntlets, along with the fact that she would get the blades modified to, if she can poke the tip into someone, she can actually take blood out from that way. Todoroki would be somewhat the same, just with a white suit, along with the fact that he actually does have it fireproofed. Shinsho, he would just be wearing like a standardized engineer style outfit, or at least the armor for it, as people are confused by that. Mina's suit is acid proof, along with the fact that she does wear the cleaner gauntlet on her hands. Sue's outfit's green. Bakugo's, he wears a similar style to a cannon, just with it being long sleeved, along with the fact that he actually does have the fibers channel his sweat towards his arms into a bigger version of his gauntlets, if not his predator gear. So these actually do stockpile and store sweat, as he can use them for explosions. He just doesn't need to wear those bigger, bulkier gloves, as he basically wears the fingerless ones, which allow him more control and mobility with his fist. Deku wearing the standardized black outfit, along with the fact that he has the armor covering the outfit. Momo somewhat having the same style of one, just with the fact that she got it modified to where she has certain patches on them made of her hair so that she can actually create things through them. Basically, needing her to have holes in her suit to pull objects out of. Mei, she does wear a style of the suit. If not, she wears, I want to say, a red one, and she probably has the most take out of everyone. Uraka just going for, I want to say Uraka would go for like a red design or something similar to her canon suit. Just having it be a bit more advanced and more helpful, along with the fact that they do carry belts that support their weapons. Deku having a smart disc. Just a bit, dull. He did have to modify all of his gear except for his wrist gauntlets and a lot of other things he usually carries. Now, for the pairing, it is going to be Deku and Momo versus, let's say, Kirishima and Kendo. Yeah, that actually does work very well. Now, for this, Deku and Momo are going to be the villains, while Kirishima and Kendo are going to be the heroes. Now, Kirishima, he just immediately turns to Kendo, asking her what her quirk is. She would explain it as, he just is intrigued by this. Okay, good, but you know what Deku's quirk is, right? Along with Momo's? Yeah, but Momo has two quirks, right? She does, but it's Deku you need to worry about. Why? As they're walking through the hall, Deku, he immediately just punches through the wall and immediately just goes to grab at Kirishima. Kendo immediately just turning her hand backwards, making a gigantic smashing Deku, knocking him through two walls in response. Kirishima just immediately just turned into his unbreakable mode as Kendo is looking at this. She immediately watches as Kirishima just begins to start sprinting at Deku, running straight through the walls, trying to find him and smash into him. She just watches as Deku, he immediately begins to throw around Kirishima. If not, these two would just grab onto each other and start smashing each other through walls. This is somewhat confusing Kendo as she's never seen two people even do this. As Deku, he would just release if not drop one of his smart discs on the ground, while it immediately starts flying towards her. She's immediately confused as she goes to punch at it, if not try to dodge it. This is whenever the disc would move away from her and actually just glide past her, as it is trying to distract her. Deku would release the other one as Kirishima would actually see this one. He immediately goes for it as Deku would just sock him across the face. Now, this is whenever Kendo, she would immediately begin running as she actually just finds the staircase. The lights are turned off, which are confusing to her as one thing comes out of the darkness. She immediately just sees as a whip comes out wrapping around her wrist, and she immediately gets pulled forward. As Momo walks out, socking her across the face, and she just, is confused. You have a whip? Oh, this thing. Midoriya let me borrow it. Midoriya? Yeah. You know, my ally. Now, Kendo, she hears as something happens. Kirishima gets sent flying forward as he smashes into the wall, creating a hole right there in the staircase. Now, Kendo immediately brings her hand up backwards to try and throw a punch forward, as before she can even move her hand, Deku immediately just uses his other whip, latching onto it. As Kendo, she immediately just looks at Deku. She tries to bring her hand forward, but finding that she can't even fight against Deku's strength, and he's only using one arm. He immediately just begins to use his other hand as he starts pulling her towards him. She is immediately just turned toward him as she tries pulling back at him. She actually does make her hands bigger, giving her more strength over Deku, but Deku, she immediately watches as he's actually just pulling as hard as he can. Kirishima, he immediately goes to aim, if not try to attack Momo, but Momo does one thing. She punches Kirishima in the jaw, if not slamming his jaw upwards into his teeth. She does that as she actually does break one of his hardened teeth, immediately just sending him flying with a kick. Kirishima goes flying through the walls and actually goes flying out of the building, as he crashes into the one across the street. People are immediately in shock as All Might, he is completely just, I would say flabbergasted, but that's a hard word to pronounce. He's impressed. Kendo, she's just staring back at Momo as Deku does one thing. He immediately just turns on his taser as he immediately just watches Kendo just start spazzing out. She immediately drops to the ground as Momo walks over towards her to basically tell her to give up, if not to capture her. Kendo just immediately swings her hands back towards Momo as Momo immediately just brings up hers, defending herself as she gets sent flying through a wall. Deku, he immediately starts running over to Momo as Kendo is making a break for it. Momo would just say that she'll be fine, as she would just hand over the whip, saying that they should focus on her. Deku would immediately run over to the staircase as he looks up. Momo would just run past him, jumping upwards, if not just basically bolting side to side up the staircases to the top floor. Deku, staring at this, would do one thing. He uses both whips, retracting them, as he actually does turn on blades. The blades. People are immediately looking at this as Deku, he just throws one of the whips upwards, as he actually just catches the blade on a railing, immediately just pulling himself up as he would start doing this. People are thinking that that's crazy, and that requires a crazy amount of control. Now, with that, this is whenever Kirishima, he would finally walk into the building, after recovering from a major punch. Now, he's just thinking that if he can keep his unbreakable mode on for another 5 minutes, he should be able to take down Deku, if not distract him long enough for Kendo to get the ball. Now, he immediately just runs over the staircase as he starts making his way upstairs. Now, back over on the other side, Kendo, she's just running as she does hear Momo's footsteps coming after her. However, they're getting vastly faster and faster, which don't make sense. She immediately is at the top floor as she does see the ball. Before she can start sprinting at it, Momo immediately comes behind her, grabbing her into a headlock, smashing her head into the doorway, as she does turn around, throwing her through the stairs. All Might's confused at what they're doing as Kendo immediately before she even falls, makes her hand huge, catching it on the railing. As that happens, Deku, he immediately just comes up with his whip and he immediately just starts bolting towards Kendo. She's confused at why he's even been able to do that. And while that's happening, this is whenever Kirishima, he actually does come up behind Deku, grabbing him into a headlock. As he does one thing. He just distracts Deku by immediately just tumbling down the stairs, if not falling through the way that Deku just climbed up. Now, this is whenever Kirishima, he immediately starts tumbling down, as he is holding on to Deku as much as he can. Momo would just run over to the railing, watching this. As Kendo, she begins trying to run back toward the ball. Momo actually does sprint over, smashing Kendo to the ground, actually hurting her back, as she immediately just holds her down, telling her that she's lost. Now, Kendo, she does admit to defeat, but meanwhile over on Deku's end, Kirishima and him has smashed into the ground. Deku being able to somewhat get back up unscathed, but Kirishima actually hurting his arm. Now, Deku would just turn around as Kirishima just socked him across the face. As soon as he does so, Deku would just not move, if not flinch, turning his eyes toward Kirishima and immediately just smacking him across his face with his left arm. Now, with how long the fight has been, Deku has fully adapted to fight at Kirishima, if not fight Kirishima. As Deku just starts not pulling his punches, fighting if not just jabbing at Kirishima's chest, face, and arms as much as he can, as he finally does take him down. And All Might declares that they are the winners. Now, everyone who has gone to space, if not who has been trained by the Predators on my list, they would all win if they are all paired up together. Even then, paired up alone, their ally would be taken down, or, well, they would just be a one-man army, fighting against two people, because of their experiences. Now, that is going to be where I do leave things off of, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys in the next part.